Gemini. Hello there, my beautiful friends. We're going to do your general tarot reading for mid-August 2026. Thank you so much for joining me today. You know, I appreciate each and every single one of you. So let's get right down to business as always and start you off with an oracle card here, just so we could dip our toes in the energy and see what's happening for the lovely Gemini collective. I hope you're all doing fabulous and fantastic, my friends. Let's get it going here. My guide, spirit team, talk to me. What do we got for these beautiful Geminis in mid-August? It is still Leo season, my good friends. What energies, messages, insights can we take a little peek at? And yeah, we're just going to take a real quick look at this first card. Then we'll get into the full reading itself. And at the very end, I'll pull you a bonus card from the Shadowland Tarot just to see what might be in the shadows or what shadow work you can lean into, which is always interesting. But let's get it going here. Let's rock and see what we got for Gemini in mid-August. What's the vibe? What's the energy? Let's get this card out nice and quick. We're going to have some fun today, my friends. Going to have fun looking at these. All right, cool. So I like this card. I haven't seen it in quite a while, and the overall vibe that it usually gives me is of the Empress. So beautiful, like motherly goddess type of energy. I like it. It's also huge when it comes to creation. Before we fully dive into that, though, if you're new here, I'll be speaking about the August subscriber surprise towards the end, so you might want to check that out. And also, if you could kindly illuminate that like button by tapping it right on its third eye, you know, I'd greatly appreciate it. But enough of the promo, back into the reading. Let's talk more in depth about it. So as you can see, we have this divine feminine figure here. It looks like she's cuddling up to that baby right there. So it's beautiful, it's affectionate, it's nurturing, it's caring. Now, as mentioned, in the positive sense, to me, this card is huge when it comes to blessings and abundance, cup runneth over type of energy. It's great for doing things in nature and taking time to cleanse your energy through natural means. So for some of you, that could be a good thing. Could be motherhood, mother figures in general, too, for a small portion of you. I just like it because it's nurturing. Now, for some Geminis, maybe this is something you might need. Everyone needs it sometimes, right? You might need a little nurturing, some care, like a big old hug. I'll give you the internet bear hug, right? So you can at least get that. But I think this card is usually very nice. Now, just like every other message or card, there could be a downside to this energy. Sometimes it could represent feeling smothered, right? So if you're dealing with a thing or a situation where you're feeling like cornered or you feel like you're between a rock and a hard place, sometimes this card shows up, but it's more so overwhelmingly good, right? So that's just for a small portion of you. And it's huge when it comes to manifestation, right? Like she has her creation. She has created this baby. So I think that's really nice. We're just going to put her down right there. They could keep having their moment. Let's get into tarot. And yeah, I always say that first card, it doesn't make or break the reading. It's just a little footnote. So let's get you 3 tarot cards in the upright. Then we'll get into that intuitive juiciness. Shuffle it up one time here for the lovely Geminis in mid-August. And while we get this deck shuffled up and ready to go, let's talk about last week's reading. So there was a bit of a clunky energy last week. The reading was titled The Difficult Situation. Now, to me, it didn't feel like worst possible thing or worst possible situation. It just felt like something that was maybe a little harder than it should be, or like someone making something difficult. Like there was definitely something there worth attention. So just know there could be certain things that are a little clunky coming up over the coming days and weeks, but we're going to see what shows up this week. As you know, energy is very fluid, never set in stone. So only take this how it hits for you, because we could be seeing your vibe or somebody else, right? Let's get it going. 3 cards for my beautiful Gemini friends. And take a look at our little energetic weather report, my good friends. There we go. Cool. Yeah, Page of Pentacles, nice. I think that's pretty good. Very conversational type of energy. It's fresh, it's new. It reminds me a lot of aces. Okay. Let's get a couple more. So far, that's a decent way to start. Let's get a couple more here for Gemini. Thank you. Cool. Very earthy. It seems like a lot of the signs, specifically the fire air signs, have a lot of earth energy showing up here this week. And that is huge when it comes to outside energy, outside circumstances. And we'll get into that a little deeper. Let's get one more. You know, I like it. And then the 5 of Pentacles. Okay. So yeah, it's definitely about pacing. There's something here about like not forcing, not rushing. There's something that needs to be paced properly. But let's go through. I'll give you some of the classical meanings and archetypes. Then we'll get into that juicy, intuitive stuff. But at first glance, you know me, I always love to look at the elements. I feel like that paints a picture, lays a good foundation for us. And we don't have to paint too much of a big picture this week because you have all the same element. Earth, with a little extra sprinkling of more earth, right? Now, there's some really good aspects to earthy energy. I would say it represents stability and security in its positive sense. So that's good. Maybe stabilizing in some area of life. That's a good thing with all this earth. But when there's too much of one element, that's when like things could go a little lopsided that we need to keep an eye on. But again, in the positive sense, this could represent day-to-day life. It could represent routine. We think of things like money, work, business, finance, assets. So home and family, the material world, right? The world around us. That's why I said this to me can sometimes represent outside things, outside forces, outside situations that we need to keep an eye on. So, in the good sense, it's stable, predictable. The downside to this, it could feel stuck. It could feel like it's not moving. So, that similar thing we picked up with the Oracle, we need to watch out for here because Earth energy moves very slow. Or watch out for things that might be a little out of your reach or out of your hands. But let's go through and start building this out piece by piece. Position number one, we start with a pretty good card. And I will say this, although it's all Earth, the front end seems pretty optimistic to me. But we have the Page of Pentacles. Now, for a small portion of you, maybe you're connected to an Earth sign, Capricorn, Virgo, Taurus. This could represent a younger individual, could even represent a child, any page. But all pages to me represent students and messengers, especially this one. It's like very, very studious, where it's like, I'm learning this, I'm getting this new information. So I see this a lot when people are diving down rabbit holes or learning new jobs, learning new skills. It's like I'm broadening my horizons. So this is really good for that. I always say that pages remind me of aces because they're fresh, they're new, they represent open doors. And especially with the Page of Pentacles, since it can be conversations, talks, and messages, this card can be an offer being put in your lap, which could be pretty good. So I like the page for that. But what's the downside to such a positive leaning energy? Remember, it's fresh, it's new, there's a lot of potential, but it's not a guarantee. So it's like, okay, that looks good, that sounds good, but let's see where it goes. It's giving me that kind of vibe. And also with pages, sometimes they could represent a bit of a quiet energy where it's like, there's something I want to say, maybe I shouldn't say it. There's something I want to address, maybe I'll stay quiet about it for now. So there could be some things around communication. But in a positive sense, that could be something great, something fresh, offer, opportunity. Now, moving to the middle, we have another pretty good leaning card. We have the Six of Pentacles, and we see this person there. He has the scales, and he's handing out coins to people. I always say this is a very giving, very charitable type of energy. So if you do charitable works, this is the energy that you embody. It's just very giving. Now, the downside to this energy, I mean, we won't even go there yet. This energy can represent balancing of the scales, making something right, bringing things into a state of balance if they're not there already. So this is cool. It's a good, nice, balanced approach. That's what I like about it. But even in relationships, it's giving, it's putting effort in, which could be good. But now to the downside, this can represent an imbalance, specifically an imbalance of effort. Watch out for things or situations that you might think are not fair or things that don't make logical sense. And another thing with the Six of Pentacles, I also link it to gift giving. Another thing I link it to is it does have karmic energy due to the scales. So there's the spiritual touch. So a lot of stuff right here in the front. But the page with the Six of Pentacles, it's like, all right, we're looking good here. It's like nice, open minded, we're expanding horizons. But then we get to the back end, we got the Five of Pentacles. Right? We see those people. They don't look like they're having that great of a time, right? They're out there in that blizzard. They're out there in the snowstorm. Now, even this card does have positives, but it can represent difficulty. It can represent a problem for sure. In the classical sense, this energy could represent like hermit mode, loneliness, isolation, feeling like you're out there on an island by yourself. This card could be that sometimes. It could show up sometimes when there's a separation where it feels like someone might be the odd man out, or there's a missing or a longing for someone or something, right? Where it's like, like it's not the nicest, right? It's like a gray cloud type of energy, similar to like Eeyore from Winnie the Pooh, which is my favorite, by the way. But I really think that this isn't just all doom and gloom, right? Because when I see the Five of Pentacles, it's temporary, right? Like this energy, there's still the Six of Pentacles right after it, 7, 8, 9, 10. So to me, this could be, if it is a problem or a situation, a bump in the road, right? Like to me, there's a temporary quality to it. But then the fact that there is so much earthiness, just watch out for outside things, outside influences, things that are out of your hands. Because all this energy is starting from the outside and pushing in. So I want to dive deeper on all of it, Gemini. Let's do it. Let's jump in and clarify. Okay. Let's get a good shuffle here. What do we got for our beautiful Gemini friends? And yes, this is where I go intuitive with the message, which means I just tell you how it feels to me. So feel free to do further research or rely on your base knowledge of tarot, because as you know, every single reading is about the reader's interpretation, and I'm just giving you mine. What's going on this page? Let's see. Is it a venture? Is it an offer? Is it a talk? Oh, and yes, if you're a reader yourself, please feel free to play along. That's why the box is here. If you're feeling any messages you want to give to Gemini, you can drop it in the comments. I don't mind at all. Okay, Page of Pentacles. Why is the Page of Pentacles here for our good friends? Thank you. Cool. Yeah, okay. So this, I think it depends on your story, really. So we have the Ace of Cups in reverse, where this could be an energy that has a little bit of doubt, where whether I'm doubting a person or doubting a situation, where it's like, oh, I want to do this, but maybe I shouldn't. So watch out for overthinking. And this could be somebody else as well, where it's like, yeah, that looks great, but I'm not quite sure. Like there's this uneasiness I'm picking up here on the front end. Now, I do still potentially see offers, opportunities, conversations, all that stuff is still in play. Because remember, I was saying the pages remind me of aces, but the Ace of Cups in reverse, this ties heavily into emotions, feelings, love as well. We're not just going to pigeonhole this to love. It's a good elemental mixture for all this earth. It does loosen it up a little bit, but this is attached to feelings. So, like when I see it in reverse underneath the Page of Cups, I'm not sure how I feel about this thing. I'm not sure how I feel about this person. I'm not sure how I feel about this situation. So there could be a lot of things where you're seeing things from multiple ends of the perspective, which Geminis are usually pretty good at. I do a lot of personal readings for you beautiful Geminis, and I know that you have a broad perspective. You're good at seeing things from a lot of different angles. Um, the thing here is the doubt, though, for some reason. So we're just going to keep moving. I mean, best case scenario, maybe this is an emotional talk or message of some kind, right? Like the Page and the Ace of Cups. Hey, there's something that's bothering me. Let's talk about it. That could be it for some of you. Let's keep going. We'll see if that continues to show up. Let's see what's up with the Six of Pentacles. Very intriguing, my good friends. So why is the Six of Pentacles here for Gemini? Good. Cool. All right. Yeah, this is huge when it comes to like solving problems. And the only reason I'm holding my skepticism is because we still have the five here on the back end. But we have the Eight of Pentacles in the upright underneath the Six of Pentacles. This just seems to work, which I think is really, really nice, depending on what you're going through. Now, the Eight of Pentacles does deal with work, money, finance, similar to the whole suit. That's why we have this huge earthy element this week. Um, the Eight of Pentacles is about effort, right? So like when I see the Six of Pentacles with the Eight of Pentacles, it's like I'm trying, I'm doing everything I can, I'm putting a lot of effort into something. So for some of you, this could be advice from spirit, where it's like, okay, even if there's something or this thing that you're unsure about, put energy towards it and see what the results are. There's just something here about a result, and the results may surprise you. That's just how it feels to me, where it's like, oh, I'm not sure, I don't know how this is going to go. Boom, with the Six of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, it's like, oh, all right, that actually worked. So watch out for like unexpected or surprising results, specifically if it's something you're pouring energy into. So I think that's pretty good. This energy is a little busy. That's another thing I'll say. Like the Six of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, it's working hard, it's doing the work, it's doing the things. And I think the results could surprise you. I think it's actually really good. So, and this is another thing of mending too. So, like, we have this other little side story here. Like, when we have this emotional talk, potentially, then the Six of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, it's like, hey, let's fix this. So, for a lot of Geminis in this time, there could be things, especially with interpersonal relationships, whether it's someone that wants to mend a bridge with you or you with somebody else. It's like, hey, let's make this right. Hey, let's fix this. So, I think that's good. We're going to keep going. Yeah, it's like depending on the energy you put in, the results will surprise you, or there might be unexpected results. So I think that's good. Let's keep going. Let's see what's up with the Five of Pentacles, then we'll do a quick recap, because that's the reason I'm not like super pumped just yet. Well, why is that Five of Pentacles here for my beautiful Geminis? What do we got here on the back end? Okay. So again, with this result thing, now I could say like, oh, it's kind of a coin flip, but I'm not going to say that necessarily. Now, the moon, And I'm going to paint a big picture here because now this completes the main chunk of the energy. The moon is water. So I just have to say, when we do the combination of earth, all earth and water, I always say that represents potential. It represents blessings and abundance. The moon itself, Pisces. Some people also give it to the Cancer collective if you're connected to any of those. But what is the moon? It's soft. It's very subtle. It's very, very quiet, hush, hush, right? It's like a very incognito, unexpected, subtle type of energy, right? So, like when I'm already speaking about the results, the moon in reverse underneath the Five of Pentacles could also just represent someone thinking the worst case scenario. Now, I am a big believer in the power of positive mindset. I am. Like trying your best to assume the best, trying your best to put a silver lining on things. So, like when I see the Five of Pentacles with the moon in reverse, it's like, hey, don't let those invasive thoughts get you. Don't let those invasive thoughts win. But this can also represent a surprising result. Now, I will say, for most Geminis, I feel like it leans in the good way. But there is still this sliver where it's like, all right, well, something might not go how you want it to. And I mean, such is life. That happens sometimes. But I feel like the energy is much more supportive than it is nerve wracking to me. Okay. Like the moon in reverse is like, surprise, right? And now we have the Five of Pentacles behind it. I think whatever it is that is showing up this week, you will get your answer quickly. You will get your answer on is this something that's worth my effort and time, or is it not? Because once you start pouring energy and intention into it, it makes itself clear very, very quick. The results may be surprising or unexpected with all this energy I'm picking up on the back end, but it will be clear. I think that's the most important thing. It's like, no, you got to put energy into it to see where it's at, right? Like it's giving me that kind of vibe check thing too. Um, but there is always that potential that something might just turn out to be a loss or a wash. That is there. But once again, the energy is much more supportive with all the elements. It's like taking a calculated risk or taking a gamble, right? Like 9 times out of 10, you might win, but there's that 1 out of 10 time where you might not, right? And then such is life. But let's go through and do a quick recap. Then we'll get into the shadow. I do feel like for a lot of Geminis or cross watchers, like the energy is leaning positive, right? But there's still that off chance. Position number one, we have the Page of Pentacles with the Ace of Cups in reverse. That is a very unsure type of energy where it's like, I don't know, maybe I should, maybe I shouldn't. I don't know how to feel about this thing or this person. It's like very up in the air, indecisive in a way. Then there's also this vibe of someone also wanting to get something off their chest, like an emotional talk of some kind, or just something that wants to be addressed. Moving to the middle, we have the Six of Pentacles, Eight of Pentacles, and the main thing that showed up to me is like, hey, you throw energy at something, or you throw focus, or put actions towards it, and you'll know real quick whether this is something you that fits, that's a vibe, or if it's not. Right? This to me feels like a surprising or unexpected result where it's like, hey, you might get much better results than you think you're going to get here with this. Um, it's good to me. But moving to the back end, we do still have that percentage chance that it just might not shake out the way you think. And that's okay, right? Like the Five of Pentacles, moon in reverse. Energy is much more supportive. If I were to put a percentage chance, I'd say 75-25. That's just how it feels to me. But there is that percentage chance here, but it's still the surprising result. So you'll know quick. You will know quick. Please take a screenshot if you want to look into that further. Let's see what's in the shadows. And yeah, I always like to pull a shadow card at the very end just to see whether it's something within you or something you don't quite see. Shadow cards don't always have to be a challenge. It could be a good thing. So let's get you one. And yeah, if you made it to this point in the reading, please feel free to check out channel memberships. I'll put a link for it in the comments below. It's a beautiful way to support the channel, and I have much love for all my channel members. Okay, let's get this shadow card out. What do we got in the shadows for my friends? Okay, there we go. Cool. Wheel of Fortune. So I like the Wheel of Fortune. It's one of my cards of expansion. It reminds me of Jupiter energy. I think of like guardian angels and the universe working on our behalf. And we were already speaking about the power of positive mindset. We're getting that with a lot of readings today, actually. But the Wheel of Fortune's good, but there is a shadow side to it, right? Like it can represent things like fate, things that are out of your hands. But the biggest thing with the Wheel of Fortune is the pace at which it moves. It could be very fast, it could be very sudden. So in the shadows, to me, I still feel like for a lot of Geminis, the energy, if I were to gamble, right, this is an energy of calculated risk. If I were to take a gamble, I feel like most of the time I'm going to come out on top. But a gamble's a gamble, my friends, right? Like rarely is everything 100% set in stone. So keep that in mind. But watch out for rapid fluctuations in energy too. So we're just going to leave it at that, Gemini. That's what I got for you this week, my friends. Don't click away just yet. I'm going to give you the details. The August subscriber surprise. If you would like further insight on your situation or you'd like to have a chat with me, you can book a personal session with me on my website, mastermetaphysics.com. The August calendar is up and spots go quick, so you might want to check that out. But for the August subscriber surprise, we're doing another winner's choice. I will choose 3 winners at random to either choose the Dreams of Gaia Tarot, which is an absolutely stunning deck, or one of the custom made crystal pendants from my website, mastermetaphysics.com. So if you'd like to get your name in for that, it's 2 simple things, as always, my friends. First, you must be subscribed. And second, let me know down in the comments, out of all the cards that showed up in your reading today, which one intrigued you the most? Which one caught your attention and why? And you put that in the comments, you'll be entered to win. And at the end of the month, the winners will be announced in my community tab / post tab. As always, my friends, much love, and I'll see you soon.